Tzu Chi hosts 10-day hot food distribution, also gives away rice to the poor in Indonesia. A home visit in Xijibai, Tzu Chi volunteers helps rescue a disabled man in need of medical care. I'm Sean Scanlon. This is DAI Headlines. Let's get started. Tzu Chi volunteers in Indonesia held a 10-day hot food distribution. A rice distribution was also held with the assistance of the military. Let's take a look.
As the COVID-19 pandemic is still ongoing, citizens have a hard time working as Tzu Chi volunteers in Bandung distributed rice through the help of the local military.
Because there are many residents here who need help, today we will be giving residents in need with Tzu Chi provided rice. As a scavenger, I really want to thank the military and Tzu Chi for providing supplies to us. It's really helpful.
Bringing care to residents near the river, Tzu Chi volunteers, under the company of policemen, arrive at their destination using a boat, though a restaurant owner said that instead of relying on distributions to live, she wants to operate her business once again.
My restaurant closed for nearly a year, but some customers still want to order from me. I tried to operate my business, but it turned out to be not profitable, and it's hard to continue. Afterwards, I had to close my business.
While cooking, volunteers prepared a lot of ingredients, as many more came in to help make heartwarming food.
During the 10-day distribution, we have distributed a total of 1,000 servings of hot food. 100 servings are distributed every day.
Tzu Chi not only provides hot food, they also care about nutrition and proper hygiene so that residents can truly eat healthy.
Eating healthy and with proper hygiene, it is hoped that people can adopt a vegetarian diet to save the earth.
In 2011, a severe flood occurred in communities around Bangkok. Tzu Chi's Thailand chapter launched a work for relief program and tea parties to recruit local bodhisattvas. Now 10 years have passed, and many have changed from disaster survivors to volunteers. Here's more.
In 2011, there was a severe flood in Thailand. It was really terrible. You could even row boats on the road. In Hansa village, the garbage problem was needed to be settled because many bungalows in Hansa village were flooded.
The scene of the 2011 flood in Bangkok, Thailand, is still clear in the mind of Tzu volunteer Wen Yin. Back then, she, being one of the survivors, was still willing to help the disaster-stricken villagers in Hansan village, where she lived, or in the surrounding area.
At that time, as it was flooded, everything was wet and smelled bad. Later, we arranged work for relief to help clean everyone's home so that community residents gradually got to know about Tzu Chi. Back then, we also held a gratitude tea event. At the tea event, we have introduced the volunteer work of recycling. Later, some Hansa residents who have joined the Work for Relief program began to participate in recycling work actively and slowly became our community volunteers.
Since Tzu Chi's Thailand chapter launched the Pandemic Relief Living Package in 2020, apart from the active contributions of volunteers, the selfless dedication of Tzu Chi volunteers also moved many residents. Among them, Phong Tip, who is a community officer, actualized her gratitude and joined the ranks of volunteers.
Seeing Tzu Chi volunteers' great efforts in helping our local residents alleviate their sufferings, I was moved to participate in various Tzu Chi activities and made up my mind to join this big Tzu Chi family.
The crisis in life may also be a turning point. Some people grew up because of this. Volunteers seized the opportunity to recruit bodhisattvas in communities, attracting more people to do good deeds together.
Whether he's the disabled, the impoverished, or the suffering, whenever they need assistance, Tzu Chi volunteers will always take the initiative to lend them a helping hand.
Tzu Chi's footsteps of love have been in Hansa village for the 10th year. The seeds of goodness are taking root, germinating and growing stronger in the hearts of local people. Volunteers also keep promoting the spirit of the Bamboo Can Bank so that more people are inspired to join the cycle of love, giving and caring for the suffering in society.
I'm 77 years old now. I don't know how long I can live, but as long as I am alive, I will spend my days meaningfully to do Tzu Chi until my last breath.
Tzu Chi Singapore has an eco-awareness center which was established in 2014. In recent years, due to the reorganization of Tzu Chi's recycling station, this particular station closed down at the end of September. Here's a look back at some of the center's highlights. People always ask us if these were professionally made, but they are not. These are all made by our volunteers.
On this day, the Tzu Chi Eco Awareness Center is not sorting recyclables or hosting a tour, but doing a live broadcast.
It's a way to remember our last 8 years here, and also to thank everyone for their service of being here for these 8 years.
Originally, a physical gratitude event was to be held, but due to pandemic safety measures, the event was changed to a virtual one. This was a challenge for the team, but they were determined to do it because they wanted to leave one last perfect image of this Tzu Chi Eco Awareness Center. The Tzu Chi Eco Awareness Center, located in Woodlands Regional Center, stopped operations on September 30th, and it will move to a new location.
This center has been built from the ground up step by step. It was such a grassroots eco-awareness center to a useful billboard center to later a more interactive center. And now it's a whole encompassing eco-awareness center, with so many people and grounds choosing to come here to learn from us.
This was the island's only recycling station, which operated 6 days a week since 2014. It has also been a place where many different organizations, such as government, community, schools, or businesses, come to gain insights about environmental protection. In more recent years, it has also served as a venue for group training for different organizations.
We have had grassroots groups come to our station to learn, and afterwards, when they return to their community, they have set up their own recycling point.
The displays here have been tested to perfection, and they will be moved to a new location to continue educating others.
We look forward to getting to spread the environmental message to more people in our new recycling station. The recycling station in Pingdong Jiangpu is very small, though full of lovely volunteers, and one in particular, Chen Wang Nengyuan, took her own savings to buy a bigger parcel of land so everyone can work in a larger place. 3 months ago, at the age of 86, she passed away from illness, but her passion for recycling has influenced many. Let's take a look.
Volunteers line up at the Yanpu Recycling Station in Pingdong, a recycling station underneath the tree. This was them 10 years ago, waiting for Master Zhenyan's arrival. The leader of this recycling team is Chen Wang Nengyuan, who provided a small plot of land to sort recyclables 25 years ago.
I can't seem to just sit at home. I love doing recycling. When I'm done with my meals and housework, I just want to head over here to continue the sorting.
As time went on, more members of the public joined her cause, and the amount collected here also increased.
Sweeping the floor is much like cleaning my own mind. When the place is clean, my heart feels good. If one day I pass on, I hope to die peacefully in my sleep. That's my wish.
At the age of 86, Chen Wang Nengyuan passed on peacefully in her sleep. Her last words were to encourage volunteers to continue the recycling efforts.
She used to be here looking after us, and now that she's gone, we feel as if one of our parents has left us. We are all saddened by her passing, much like grieving our own parent.
The longyan and mango trees from 20 years ago have all been removed due to urban development, but the recycling volunteers' passion for environmental concerns have not changed.
The brothers and sisters really treasure this place. They come early in the morning to listen to the master's Dharma lessons or chat with one another. It's really such a joyful place.
This assembly work is mostly done by males because we have more strength. We need to separate the copper from the metal, or else, otherwise, we won't be able to sell it for a good price.
The work is really not separated by gender as they all work together with one goal in mind. With their motivation for work, those in their 70s and 80s look much younger than their actual age.
When I get a lot of recyclables in one day, I feel so much joy in my heart.
I feel happy when doing recycling, and the joy helps bring a smile to my face. It's like using a cream for my face. If I get dirty here, then I can just wash it off when I get home.
This is styrofoam. It won't disintegrate. If it is not recycled, then it becomes pollution.
Not afraid of getting dirty, just afraid of the Earth's cleanliness. Thanks to the volunteers' selflessness, recycling will continue.
As if by destiny, Lin Sufen suffered a serious car accident when she was 40 years old. She lost 2,000 cc of blood, and with multiple treatments and rehabilitation, she regained her life. After she recovered, she was grateful for the blood donated by kind-hearted people. Because of this, she hoped to contribute to others in need, donating stem cells to someone suffering from leukemia. Here's more.
They called me and told me to go back to the hospital. He wants to tell me the condition is acute leukemia.
At that time, my mood was completely poor, and I just had one question. If I have a child, will this thing be inherited?
I was riding a scooter and I shed tears while riding. I know that others are looking at me with strange eyes, but I just can't help tearing up. According to the daily records, from 10 days to nearly 20 days since the onset of symptoms, 70 to 80% of his body was already cancerous.
I asked the doctor if I can go home for Lunar New Year. He just told me no. I can't let you go as you may pass away. My body was weak after chemotherapy, and I was in a semi-isolation ward as I didn't have much energy.
I heard him crying for several days in the middle of the night. I knew he was crying and I didn't dare to make a sound.
Thinking of my child led me to cry thinking about this empty ward.
I really want to donate blood because there is 2,000 cc's of donated blood in my body. The result is not a blood donation, but stem cell donation. The file was established when I was in my 30s. The car accident was when I was 40 years old. I transfused 2,000 cc's of blood. The open fracture broke into 8 pieces. From here, I broke the left foot and felt that there are many noble people. This life must have meaning, giving me the opportunity to save him, which I am very willing.
The message that I was successfully paired came out less than 1 month. I'm very happy, but on the one hand, I was worried about finding a donor, and if this person was willing to donate.
Until Tzu Chi brothers and sisters came to the hospital to see us, I was really moved.
At that time, Tzu Chi brothers and sisters came in to confirm the donors was willing to donate. When I heard that, I really wanted to cry because I was on the verge of death. And suddenly, someone pulled me back and gave me a helping hand. The feeling was really different.
The recipient should be a young boy and be very tall, because the donation amount must be enough for him to use. He should be a boy, maybe like another son. Actually, he shouldn't be a son, maybe a brother or a sister. At that time, I had a temper, and I was afraid of giving my bad temper to him.
I want to say that the donor should have long hair and slightly overweight with kind eyebrows and good intentions. I started to cry a lot and was easily moved to tears. Maybe it was a woman who gave me the stem cells.
I think it seems that there is no white hair at all, but then the strands of his hair became thinner.
500 cc stem cells save not just a life but a family.
I know the value of rebirth, and I also hope that you get a new life like me. Then you can pass on the good after you are healthy.
Sixty-year-old Mr. Lin lives alone in Shizi rental housing. Starting in July, Tzu Chi regularly came to care for him. One day in early October, he didn't respond as police broke in and found Mr. Lin lying in a pile of debris. Fortunately, there were signs of life as he was rushed to the hospital where he recuperated. Mr. Lin, who lives alone, suffers from Parkinson's disease and has mobility issues. Tzu Chi volunteers regularly visit to help with cleaning, but this day he didn't respond to a knock at the door.
We are at the door and don't know what the smell is inside. We can definitely smell something.
Volunteers worried turned into actions as they immediately found the borough chief and the police to break in. They found Mr. Lin lying on a pile of debris, motionless, so they immediately sent him for medical care.
When no one cared about me or contacted me, she was the only one who preserved and went to the police to find the bureau chief. To me, she is a bodhisattva.
Fortunately, we arrived in time. It really saved a life. I'm also very comforted and relieved.
Fortunately, after being sent to the hospital, Mr. Lin's life was out of danger. Volunteers took advantage of his hospitalization to help clean up his home environment.
It's better if someone cares about him, as he won't think that he's alone. And there's no one to take care of him when he's sick. Knowing that someone cares about him will make his body naturally feel more cheerful.
During his recuperation in the hospital, Tzu Chi volunteer Cheng Chou-rong cared for him almost every day. Mr. Lin was deeply moved and volunteered to become her contributing member.
This is to help others. I want to sponsor Tzu Chi activities through donations.
The caring of love continued for Mr. Lin after he was discharged from the hospital.
出院这5天，我也来了3天了，都会带一些吃的，然后来关心他。有时候会没来的话，我也打电话问他说，今天怎么样？有没有比较顺这样子？他还会偷偷说，我昨天可以自己一个人起来尿尿了。那我听了也很高兴，说他慢慢在复原了。
Tzu Chi volunteers from Xinyi district of Taipei mobilized to help a pair of brothers clean up their home. The younger brother has developmental delays but is very helpful at the recycling station. The volunteers found out that his older brother, who had a stroke, was being discharged from the hospital. They knew these brothers needed a clean environment to live in. Let's take a look.
When there's uninvited guests at the home, it's a signal to clean up the home. This home is cluttered and messy with items piled so high that the bed is invisible. Gao Mujing, who lives here, contributes to cleaning to speed things along. This volunteer from the recycling station has the mental capacity of a child, but his performance in sorting recyclables is amazing.
Many times he has a better memory than we do, and his ability to decipher the recycling categories is impressive. He'll tell us that it's not one category but the other and correct our mistakes. As we often care for him, he has come to accept our suggestions. And this is the result of our long-term friendship.
那我们先来这边帮他做一个居家环境的那个整理，顺便把那个床跟
We're also here to bring over this bed and sofa and the closet.
set up 一下，摆一下。
Bags of garbage are removed as the house becomes more of a home for the Gao brothers to live in.
A recent fire in Kaohsiung has raised safety concerns of older buildings in Taiwan. The most effective fire prevention is major renovation, though complicated property ownership issues make such an undertaking very difficult. Let's take a closer look at this topic.
走在台中市整治过后的绿川水岸，景色宜人。不过就在一旁，却有这样一栋老旧、几近废弃的商业大楼，跟整体的市容完全不搭。
整件吧，看要怎么整件而已啊。对，
不然就跟这边搭配啊，就是做差不多风格的就 OK 了。
Tianyue Building has a history of 43 years. As the newspapers during its prime declared the building to be the largest shopping mall in Taichung.
The mall is 210,000 square feet, has 2 basement floors and 10 floors above. There's also a restaurant on the 11th floor, which is spun. The building was a very famous landmark at the time.
After 3 fire hazards and a decrease of customers locally, Tianyue Building is almost in ruins, though after 6 years of city development, the building still hasn't undergone any progress.
We have to reach an agreement of 80%, and these people are mostly stall owners, approximately 138 of them. As of now, we have only reached 72% agreement.
We will cooperate with them. Before tearing down the old houses to build new ones, they have to clearly tell us where our place is going to be.
Property integration is a priority when it comes to renovating old buildings, but due to the old age of the building, it's tough for construction companies to start investing. The old building has lost its advantage in functionality due to the rapid development of city renovation and expansion. Fortunately, old buildings do not all have to be torn down for renovation. Some can go through governmental evaluation and subsidy for remodeling project. The building on the east, Siwei Building, is a successful case.
Through their own building committee, they can organize and maintain the community. They can improve their devices, which will provide safety measures to the building, will also look good on the outside.
This theater is nearly 30 years old, but due to simpler property rights, the government immediately provided subsidies for renovation. After the construction, the building has stronger pillars and appears new. This, of course, creates an obvious contrast to its old neighboring buildings. From a doctor's perspective, it's like treating the patient whenever they experience symptoms, instead of treating the illness as a whole. Through city renovation, can buildings be safer and appear nicer? Before renovation, building residents must trust one another and call in the professionals, making renovation possible for construction companies.
In San Jose, a fire broke out in a low-income apartment complex, burning 15 rooms, affecting 23 families. Tzu Chi volunteers prepared blankets and cash cards to help those in need. I leave you with these images. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.